Yes.
You said she. What were you doing in the truck?
It's just Michelle.
It's just Michelle.
Yeah, she's just my Monday chick. All right.
Oh, she's a nut job.
That's okay. She's a nut job.
Nice boobs, though.
They all are, Brian.
Nice
they
what?
all are.
That's the smartest thing Dom's gonna say all night, I think.
I'm out. Good night, boys.
Yep.
Try the
Done.
fish.
Try the fish. Get the fuck out. You know we're live right now too, right?
Yeah.
I saw the live button go up.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Great. When did that turn on?
Somewhere around when you were telling us about the
nut
back
job.
seat of the car or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Somewhere between your cold ass and going back to the office.
Okay.
Not too much trouble, right, Brian?
I hope I changed the names to protect the innocent.
Kimberly.
Well, guys, we're live, so we might as well start this thing.
Is JD
Everybody
back?
listening?
I'm back.
All right.
I'm here.
And he's back.
JD's hosting.
I'm here. Yep. Nope.
Can we start?
Maybe not.
Can we like officially start? All right.
Let's do this.
All right. Welcome everybody listening and watching to Breaking the Mold. I'm Energon Addict, and I'm here with the rest of the guys. I'm gonna start on my screen from right to left. So I'll start with JD. JD, how you doing? How was your weekend?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Weekend was it was good. I can't even remember really what we did. We ran around.
It's a sign of a good weekend then.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm the stoner on this show.
I'm old. Yeah, no.
I don't know what.
I think it was like Alzheimer's and shit.
Dude, that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
They're saying they might have a cure for it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Hook me up, motherfucker.
You got to go to Thailand or some shit first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they extracting it from like shark brains or something like that?
I forget. It was some kind of
Cancer,
things.
Dave. You're thinking of cancer.
The proteins and the enzymes, something.
What movie is it I'm thinking of though?
Oh, you're thinking of Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, good one.
Starring Mr. Ladies Love Cool James himself.
Fuck these sharks. These motherfucking sharks.
Interesting side note about that movie. You know, he actually tried out for the role of Neo in The Matrix, and he didn't get it, but then he got that other role instead.
LL Cool J?
Yep.
He tried out for
Picture him
Neo.
as fucking Neo.
He did. Dude, it was 20 years ago. You know what I mean? That's like, could you have pictured Keanu as in that though? I mean, think back, you know.
Yeah, but just picture fucking the character Neo licking his lips every fucking 2 seconds.
Oh, man, it's harsh. It's harsh.
Dude,
So-
I think I could dig that. I think I want to see that.
See?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you would have had to recast Lawrence Fishburne, but you know, I'm just saying.
I wanted to take him for like an internet, like, hacker. He doesn't look like an internet hacker. Like Keanu, I can see like a closet internet hacker. So,
Well, Tom, we don't look like regular nerds, so I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, Dom looks like a regular nerd.
oh,
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm wearing this hat, I look like a nerd, but
Nah,
Yeah.
man, you're beautiful. You're beautiful.
can we just move on to the next person?
okay.
Fine. But yeah, everything was good, and I'm good. So, hi.
All right. G Money, what up?
Dude, what's going on?
Great
I'm in a much
weekend.
better mood because I'm not traveling for work like I was last week for the show. And I know you guys all just got to hang out a couple weeks ago, but I'm actually looking forward to this weekend coming up. But did you ever discover something like that you remembered as a kid and you kind of, okay, I take that back. You just rediscovered something that you enjoyed as a kid that you
My
forgot
penis.
about.
yeah.
Okay, great. Nice.
So where are you going with this, Gary?
Well, so I got into one of, as Brian would say, sometimes like you get sucked into a YouTube vortex or, you know, in the internet. And I had remembered this show, and I'm a little older than you guys, but it ran from 84 through 86. And it was a Saturday morning show called
Howdy
Kid
Kitty?
Video.
Yeah.
No, Do you remember, Brian?
I remember it fondly.
Kid video.
Yeah, it's kid video with two D's.
Yeah.
And what it was a live action 4-member band, 3 guys and a girl. And very much like the Monkees in the 60s, they did the TV show, they toured, they sang the real songs. And the show was live action where they got brought into like an animated world. And the premise was kind of silly, but it showed I say real life, but like actual music videos on regular TV. So they didn't have to have MTV or have cable. And they would integrate those videos on the cartoon, basically. So if you remember like 1985's Take On Me, by Aha, like that video, they showed that one. But it had a really catchy, like most 80s shows did, like a entry theme song.
What was the girl?
But I
Was she
forgot.
the bass player? Was the girl the
Yeah,
bass player?
the girl was a drummer, Dom.
The drummer? Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, see, and I had a crush. That's my whole point of this whole long-winded story is I forgot that she was one of my childhood crushes. I know. She was one of my childhood crushes.
Really?
You just
Gabriella.
Was she a
Gabriella
brunette
Bennett.
or a blonde? A brunette or blonde?
She was Hispanic with dark hair.
Okay.
Gary liked her because she was all Jane Fonda up with the leg warmers and whatnot and leotards.
Well, it's 1985, Brian. I was 10 years old, so my world of knowing the opposite sex is pretty limited back then.
That's okay, Gary. So, I really like that little fairy chick, whatever the hell her name was.
She's the one that she would sneeze.
Yep.
Kid video.
I can't remember her name.
I'm watching it now, and I do remember it. Not as in depth as you do, but I do remember it.
I don't remember this shit.
One of the things I really liked was that Space Winnebago fucking thing that they drove in, and it was like on a monorail track.
Dude, you guys got to go outside and play a little bit more often.
Listen,
and
we didn't have MTV or even cable when I was 10 years old, so that was the one way I could see like
she's pretty hot though, Gary. She's pretty hot.
Mr. Silver Spoon did though, so he was watching probably cable then. That's why he doesn't know.
Oh, Silver Spoons! Don't get me started on actress Erin Gray. Oh my gosh.
Kid video. What channel was this on?
I saw her at Comic-Con probably back in like 05 or 06, and I was still infatuated. Oh my goodness. This goes off the rails today. Okay,
Gary, you like the lead singer looks like a younger you.
Oh boy, yikes! Anyway, all right, that's okay. So I'm good, Dave. Thank you.
Oh no, Brian, what's up, Brian?
Hey, I want to wish you all a happy falafel day. Today's falafel day.
Oh fuck! I didn't have
and for some reason, my cafeteria at work had falafels on Tuesday last week. Not this week, so I guess they're behind. It's throwing me off. So anyway, do you guys like falafel? Have you ever had falafel?
I do.
I don't know what that actually is.
I don't know.
It's just like a bean patty type of thing that's deep fried.
It's chickpeas.
Oh no, I'm good.
Chickpeas.
Yeah, chickpeas. That's what I meant. Sorry. It's good. It's good, Gary. It's fantastic.
Usually get them in Greek restaurants more
Falafel.
than anything else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so there's that. And then I forgot what I really wanted to talk about.
You were in a concert, right, Brian?
Oh, yeah. I did my annual Dave Matthews Band concert weekend with my normie friends.
Your cool friends.
That's what I did.
That's what you call them? Your normie friends?
Well, I guess I have to now. Unless you guys are my new norm, then that means that they're my weirdo friends.
See, I call you guys the fun friends.
You went.
See that?
No. That's what I did this weekend. I made fun of you guys for reliving the white life.
Oh yeah.
All the white life.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's always a good time. And I
remembered.
Yeah. Yep. I actually remembered.
Once you look in the mirror, buddy.
No, I mean, there's white people, and then there's like white people.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty dope.
Like the Grey Poupon white, or
no.
Whatever.
So anyway, I had to behave myself. This is the 4th week of a 5-week every adventure type of thing going on. So I'm looking forward to next week hanging out with you guys, and then I'm looking forward to taking a break for the summer.
How was the tailgating?
Tailgating was good. Just Wawa subs and beer, stuff like that.
I was going to ask you what the spread was.
No, we didn't go all out. It's in the past though. If you think about Bobby having a skull fest at his house, we basically would get together with about 35, 40 people and tailgate together, and that's what kind of jump started the whole tradition and stuff. And it was good times.
What time?
But everybody's grown up and has kids and goes to France, and whatever fucking shit they're doing now.
So what time typically, like back in the old days, would you start the tailgating? Like the concert starts at say doors open at 5:30. What time do you?
Doors open at 6:30.
Okay.
But we would start around 12 or 1.
Oh wow.
We actually through a local bar that me and my older friends would go to, we hooked up with a younger crowd there that worked there. They're all good friends, and basically they've been going to these concerts since before they were legal to drink. And so they found an awesome tailgating spot in Camden, which is inside a parking garage of an office building. And basically you go in there, you tell the attendant you're there to see the battleship, because there's a fucking battleship there. And then we would tailgate inside that parking garage, and the cops would never go in there. And they found that out. They found out that was a good place for them to tailgate, because then they wouldn't get hassled for underage drinking and stuff like that. But by the time we met them, they were of age. So everybody just calm the fuck down, not contributing to the delinquency of minors. But anyways, good times. Like, and if it rains, you just go down to the lower level of the parking garage stuff. Good times. Great.
And I'm only teasing.
It's all right, JD.
People.
Take care of you this weekend.
I've never done that. I've never tailgated. I've never been to a football. I've been to a football game, but never, hung out in the parking lot.
Never tailgated, Dave?
No, never did that.
Oh.
Never went to a concert and tailgated at a concert either.
We should do that.
I guess the closest thing is like going to a local park and trying to barbecue on like the side of the park, You ever seen anybody do that?
Yeah, I used to do that too. That's fun times. They have those grills there that are all grungy and messed up. You just gotta cover them like fucking crazy in aluminum foil. Yep.
How about you, Dom? How come you weren't at Dave Matthews this weekend?
Because I was at another concert.
Which one?
I was at the Bush and Live concert at the PNC Arts Center.
What's that?
Bush?
Yeah.
It's
I don't know. I'm sorry. You got to school me on that
it's
shit.
a slang word for the female anatomy. No. It's a 90s rock band.
Oh, okay.
Girl.
Live is another popular 90s rock band. So
they're from York, PA.
Yeah.
You listen to them too, JD, or yeah?
No. I used to deliver pizza to them. So
oh, really?
To Bush?
No, to Live.
Oh, I saw them in school. They played my college way back when. Small venue.
They were pretty good. I was there. My wife is a big Live fan. I was more of a big Bush fan. So
did they sing Lightning Crashes? Is that them?
Yes, Lightning Crashes is Live.
Okay.
Bush is like Machine Head, Come Down.
Yeah, no, I remember Bush. Yeah, he was married to Gwen, right?
Gwen Stefani, yep.
Damn, I never miss Jose so much until right now.
Dude, I was going to say Gwen Stacy. So you guys fucking poisoned me.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was fun. It was a good time. The weather was beautiful.
It was a good weather for concert.
Yeah, Saturday night was nice. It was nice and cool, a little breeze. So it was done. And then Sunday we just hung around. It was Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all your fathers, belated. But went to my parents' house and said hello to the old man. Gave him a "How you doing?" He gave me "Fuck you," and all that good stuff.
Nice.
So,
great.
We had dinner. Just I brought some stuff over, and then we had some dinner over there, and it was good. I had a good time.
Yeah, I had my folks over too. I had my folks over here and my in-laws again. So, and my wife's idea, don't worry about it. We got the menu in order, but of course I was on the grill. But hey, I guess that's what you got to do on Father's Day, right?
Dude, for a person who says that they like cooking, you complain a lot.
I complain, dude.
Well,
All
Dom,
right.
he's always cooking for like 15 people.
Yeah, well, he has a large family. You know,
I'm just saying.
Dom, cooking for me isn't ordering fucking Chick-fil-A or whatever on the corner. You know what I mean? Like
On the
usually
corner?
getting down. Yeah, Dom has everything by him.
Dude. Chick-fil-A on the corner sounds like a good way to make some money.
Yeah, but yeah, so it was nice. I mean, I wish I had less to do that day, but unfortunately, when you have company, you have to clean, cook, and then clean again when they leave.
Did your wife get the memo that it was Father's Day?
She got the memo, but I don't know, bro.
Dave,
Wait for her to do anything. Like, come on.
Did you get anything good for Father's Day?
I actually got my gift today, and
Was it delivered to my house?
no. That's my direct to eBay now. That's my address on my eBay account is Brian's address. But
direct to eBay.
No, I got she bought me she tried to surprise me, of course, you know, not really knowing what I needed, but she knows I'm into the 1/6 scale stuff. So she got me the BB9, I think it is, the
BB-8,
the black version of BB-8.
Yeah.
So I got him over there now, which was nice. It
was nice of her.
Yeah. She knew I didn't have it. She's like,
I was just gonna say,
Kylo
she knew...
Ren, and then she knew what Kylo Ren was. I was like, all right, you win, no problem.
Yeah, and she knew that you didn't have it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she was up here the other day too for a minute, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know, I heard her in my room. I'm like, "What are you doing up there?" She's like, "I was just admiring it." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Walking around on the carpet, my bare feet.
2 seconds, yeah.
That's what I'd be doing.
2 seconds later, she's on the phone in the corner, you know, kind of hiding the phone. I'm like, "What the fuck is it?" I kind of knew, but didn't. So it was nice, definitely nice gesture. That's about it. I mean, I did get to spend a lot of time with Chloe this weekend because my wife was running around, getting stuff from the supermarket and so forth for the Sunday dinner. So I was on daddy duty for most of the time, but it was well worth it. It was nice. We had a lot of fun. So it was a good weekend.
Daddy duty.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we had to talk, right?
Everybody talked. Everybody went. Okay.
Yeah, everybody went.
Awesome. Oops, sorry.
Oh, hi.
That's my doorbell.
Is it?
JD's delivering me a pizza.
That's funny.
All right. So what do you guys want to start with? I know we spoke about a few things in the chat, but I think the one thing on the tip, at least my tongue right now, is
let's get it out, Dave.
Just get it out, Dave.
Hold on a second. I'm not prepared, but I was looking for something like a floating head. So
floating head.
So Takara has a few things coming out, and I might have put a post up in our Facebook group that stirred some conversation. I honestly do that shit just for fun. I just want to see, get everybody's blood.
That's how it started. That's fine.
But Gary had a lot to say to me that day. Came back to me about 25 times that day. So hopefully we can get it all out today. But I'm gonna let you guys speak before I start rattling off on how I feel about it. But I'll just give you my general consensus, and that is,
it's a piece of shit.
No, I think that it looks good. Okay, but
we're talking about masterpiece sound, right? Dave?
Okay,
yes.
But in a whole, I want to talk about Takara's recent G1 release. Okay, so it looks good, but all to a fault when it's fucking. Dude, when I found out its fucking head doesn't go, I mean, I am being nitpicky, and people can bitch all they want about me being nitpicky, but if I'm going to buy something that I consider to be a masterpiece toy, I want to make sure that it, in my standards, is a masterpiece, and something that doesn't deliver where the head is just floating on a separate arm piece. It just doesn't do it for me.
Oh, man.
So, I'll let you guys speak on it, but just go ahead.
No, to point for what you just said, may I ask, do you own the X-Transbot skids in your collection? The blue one, the very first one with the wonky shoulder.
I sure do.
And the face.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you consider that to be of masterpiece quality?
Guess what? I have it in car mode because it looks better in car mode.
That's okay. I didn't ask what mode it was in. I was just curious if you considered the toy that you purchased to be of masterpiece quality when you bought it.
Of masterpiece quality. I would not say I would not call it a masterpiece toy. No.
Now I will warn, right? He was what, $90, and
Right.
and Takara Hound is $160, just on the regular, generic retail price. I guess my thoughts were, I think it looks good. I like the character. I always have. I know we joked about all the useless accessories, and he comes with a soft top used in one cartoon episode, and the spike and the hologram beam and all that stuff no one ever uses. But we shouldn't be that surprised by that, right? I mean, we have seen that be the trend with a bunch of accessories with Takara stuff recently, and third party followed suit. But it's so strongly opinionated on something that no one has in hand yet, right? So no one's got it, based off of scrutinizing photos, and it's a shame that people get so negative when we complain that there hasn't been a new G1 mold, nothing but plus and anime style repaints, and we have a new mold of a character that's never been done before, not another Prime, not another Bumblebee, and it still angers so many people. Now, granted, I admit, like, there are great choices out there as well between the Make Toys 2 versions and Willis, but I think it's kind of like this. It's like, drive a Toyota Camry and you're like, oh, it's a nice car, right? It's reliable, it's fairly comfortable, it does what it's supposed to do. You're not really surprised by it. I was a little bit not able to understand why people are surprised by what Takara offered with it, because it's been part of the course for the last couple of years on new releases. So it's my thought.
That comparison was brought to you by CarMax.
I gotta pay the bill somehow, JD.
And I feel that Gary's biased because he has a Jeep and Hound is a Jeep.
I do have a Jeep. And like I said, I admittedly liked the character. It was a character I liked as a kid. I always thought it was cooler in that first season when Spike kind of gravitated towards Hound more, right, as the Autobot counterpart before Bumblebee became his go-to guy. But it's still a new mold, right? It's a character that hasn't been done before, and that's what we've been asking for.
Yeah, and I think it's great. And from afar, it looks amazing. Like when I saw it kneeling down in that kneel down pose, I was like, "Holy shit, this is gonna be dope!" Right? But then I'm it's like beating a dead horse. This is what you're gonna hear from me is I don't like the fact that its head is floating on a fucking on a separate arm piece. Okay, that's the way they had to do it for engineering purposes. I understand. All right, fine. But you couldn't have found another way to do it. We have a Fans Toys one there. Transformation is probably different, but exactly make it tab in a little something. Just so for all we know, there could be something there, but the taking the pictures haven't done a job, and I'm going off the pictures. So, as passionately as you're defending it, hey, we wanted something new, we got something new. I'm saying we got something new, but it's not perfect. Already, I haven't got it in hand, but to me, it's not perfect.
I will let someone else go before I ask another question, because I have a legit question, but I'll wait.
Okay.
I side with Dave though. I'm out on it. I don't need.
You have Willis. You have Willis, JD.
Willis is like my definitive.
What makes you out on it, JD? Though, what's triggering you that say, "Nah, this is not for me"?
So I brought this up before, and my collection is in 4 different directions. You know what I mean? That there's no consistency. I mean, I could buy all Takara, whatever. It's all, you know what I mean? Just whatever. When they did Inferno, that's when they started doing this with the tune accuracy. And some of the other companies are following suit. But I think Fans Toys gets both. Like, it's just enough that, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I could see that in a cartoon. Or it's like, that's what I imagined as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cartoon, like the kind of adult oriented design to it. But I mean, aside from that, like, Willis is my definitive. I mean, I don't need to spend more money on. I mean, how much was Willis? $100.
Yeah, $100. That's
Yeah.
fair. I can appreciate that.
And then, Takara keeps jacking their price up with each release. You know what I mean? Hound should be the price of a car, maybe a little more. I'd say $100 tops.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep hiking the price up.
Even Sunstreaker's price. What was that? 120.
120.
Yeah.
Sunstreaker is 120.
But
but Hound comes with that $50 canvas top thing.
sure, save it.
She's never going to use.
It's dumb. I mean, I understand they're a business, you know what I mean, but I think they're taking it a little too far as monopolizing on people. You know what I mean? It's like make it first Prime and now this.
So I got a question for you, JD. Let's say you didn't have the Willis.
I'd probably go make toys.
Okay, all right. So why? Like why? Oh, if you knew this is coming out.
I mean, I don't want to say because of price, but probably because of price. I don't feel that it justifies spending almost $200.
And it's not that you can't afford it. It's that you just don't want to spend the money on it.
No,
right.
Like, there's a billion other things that I would rather spend $160 on, and I feel that I would get what I want out of it.
So,
and that's fair. I think Dave's got a good point. I'm just saying, when you cross price thresholds in anything, it starts to consider alternatives for what you spend your money on. I absolutely get that.
So what if the price point was different? What if the price point was 120 or 100?
That was going to be my question. Yep.
Yeah, I feel that I'm still fine. I'm still fine with Willis.
No Willis involved. Price point is $110 for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, no, if I didn't have Willis, that's probably out of the picture because he's harder to get. There's a couple retailers out there that have been, they restocked on the make toys on both versions. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably have to sit and wait and comparisons, you know what I mean? Watch some reviews and all that kind of stuff. But then again, it comes back to, what's going to fit into my collection better? You know what I mean? As far as aesthetics, because I'm not 100% sold on all the tune accuracy stuff. Not 100% anyway. Like 60, 75, somewhere in that range.
I could see where you're coming from with that. I mean, I think that's what sways me a little more into the, nitpicking on the figure is because I have Willis. If I didn't, I might be like, maybe more towards what Gary's saying. Wait till it comes out. Let me see what it looks like. You know what I mean? But
and listen, and I know Dave, you can give me flack for this, but I don't have either one now because that's just how you guys know how I collect to some degree, I guess.
So that shit.
But no, I did have, I had the dark green, metallic make toys. And then I did have Willis briefly, and I actually really liked, to your point, Jay, I liked the make toys as a great choice, for one that looks not totally tuned and, looks like a more, adult style. And I like the alt mode for that particular character. I never transformed Willis. Did either of you guys ever transform?
I have.
Yeah,
Willis
I did when I
to Jeep?
first got him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
I know that he was definitely one, again, not that I should be that surprised, right? Because we know that Fans Toys transformation, especially on smaller characters, are very complex and can be frustrating, but I never did bother to try and even transform that one myself when I had it. But three great choices for a character, I don't know.
So who else wants to talk about this thing?
I'll go next. I do agree with JD's frustrations with how his stuff looks on his shelf. I want to say that I am very thankful that I came into third party when it started, at least for the Masterpiece related stuff, because I did like the original intention of Masterpiece, the balance between, that mature look and the tune proportions, type of thing, giving you what you saw on screen but never exactly got in the G1 cars. And yeah, it's fantastic. And then they start switching up this tune stuff, and like JD, I'm not in on that. And
Mhm.
the interesting thing is, remember if we're going to talk about price, back in the day, third party was so much more expensive than official, and the
Mhm.
people who collected third party were considered the elitists and blah blah blah. I think there is even a third party elitist group at one point, isn't that right?
You
You
are
had to have
correct.
every single color of Feral Rex and what was the other ones? I can't remember. To be a member. I know Tyler L's in the chat, so I'm just rubbing him a little bit that way. And yeah, so where am I going with this? This Takara Hound, I think it looks great. I'm kind of in the same pocket with that as I am with the Inferno, meaning I think that Inferno and Grappler is probably some of the best Masterpiece figures ever to come out, but they don't fit in my collection, which really hurts because I want to buy the Masterpiece Transformers for my Masterpiece collection. Thankfully, third party, namely Fans Toys, mostly, I would say X-Transbots to a considerable extent, as well as is maintaining that line that of aesthetic that was started back in the beginning, which is nice. And now they're cheaper than the official, and
Mhm.
I'm wondering if the official, if you raise your price, you immediately make your product more elite than the other one. That's just the way it is. I mean, you can be practical and objective about it and say, no, it's not worth that. But no, the fucking price says it's elite, and that's what it is, and you're just going to have to deal with it. So, they're basically saying this is the Uber collectible for Transformers, or at least for transforming ones, that is. And yeah.
Do you guys think that this is just a side question? Do you think if it wasn't for third party, officials prices would be not as much as it is now?
No, I don't think so. I
Mm.
think they're making a statement here with these dollar signs.
Yeah, I
If it,
think
were-
so too.
I'll be honest, if it weren't for third party, I don't know that official stuff would be even around as much as it is. I don't know if it would have sustained enough interest in people with what their release schedule has looked like over the last 3 years.
Gary, I was trying to think about that the other day, but of all the people we know in the fandom, obviously the people like in the cool table side, the people in the network, the people who watch, the people who we meet, it's. I think about it, man. It's probably it's a few hundred people, probably less than 1,000, and I wonder how big the collecting contingent is that we don't see in Facebook
That's
and
true.
all that other
Yeah.
stuff.
No, I think that
it's
I
you're-
mean,
big.
it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's big.
I mean, you like. I think we were talking about this at one point. You'd say, even to this day, what at least half, probably more of the collecting community doesn't even know what third party is.
Right.
That's because all they do is collect the mainline stuff, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah. Well, my take on Hound is that I'm always tuned. I like it. It's definitely the tune aesthetic that I'm looking for. Don't get me wrong. I don't like I don't when I have Willis and I have the Make toys, so I have both of them. So I feel for people like Brian who like that aesthetic, that realistic aesthetic. That's what was offered at first.
Yep.
That's what I bought because that's the only that was available at the time. The tune is what I was going for. So anything that was getting as close to tune, giving me the tune or giving me more of close to that tune aesthetic, I would buy. So whenever the original Masterpiece was going out and third party where third party is, I would buy because that was the tune aesthetic. As tune aesthetic as you can get. Where now official is bringing it to that next level. I'm happy for it because that's where I want to go. And, but
like,
there is a nostalgia that I have for the toy, which is more of a where the Masterpiece used to be. or
Yeah.
where third party is now or has been continuing. So
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at that hound, and it's like, dude, the legs are green instead of silver, and
yeah, like a light green or
it
tan.
just seems so strange.
I like
But,
I like I said, I think it's great. I don't really care about the floating head.
Yeah.
They have to do what they have to do to make the thing work. I understand. I've worked with engineers and designers on a power plant perspective, and I know about constraints. I know about with time, money, and everything, and higher ups give you a specific cost and points to do, and I can assume that this is the best way they were able to do it for what they had and what they were working with.
I don't know.
You know,
When you think the best way, it's the best way they're going about to achieve this
I
new
love.
aesthetic, right? I mean,
I,
if we look at the Bumblebee, I mean, I think Dave, that was part of your point as well, right?
yeah,
Not
yeah.
just this hound, but right. Look at that, look at that Bumblebee that's coming out, and even to some extent the new MP44. Although after a while it's starting to grow on me, but I mean, when we get that thing in hand, it's going to be impressive. But when you try to transform it, dude, the thing's going to be fucking crazy stupid,
Yeah, and
So,
they're definitely going for a more articulated figure as well.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to balance those two. I think they're more focused on articulation and more tune aesthetics, and to the tune of what was on the screen. So
yeah.
I like, and I feel for like, yes, like when you look at your masterpiece, it's all over the place. So it's whether you want to determine if you want to go with more tune and go with what officials putting out right now. I think Bad Cube and a couple other new releases from Bad Cube that they were doing, like the Sideswipe and their Red Alert, it was more of a tune type of aesthetic that they made it look a little bit better than what Sideswipe was looking at and everything like that. So there's people doing it, and there's third parties that are keeping to tradition and what Masterpiece used to be, and
Yeah.
I think I hope they continue that way. I hope we get both sides of the spectrum and have the ability to purchase whatever we desire, because I would hate to see third party move towards what official is doing and everybody do it.
Mm.
And it's just, then you kind of leave those guys left in the dark and trying to finishing out a G1 collection that's more of a toy accurate, realistic accurate aesthetic.
So I think this is kind of turned back into that repetitive, perspective on, toy and tune and what that looks like. But even with that, who displays all their figures in the exact same location, all side by side, anyways, where they have to all match?
A lot
exactly.
of people.
A lot of people.
I mean,
No, I mean,
now,
Dude, I see so many pictures of people's
Of people
collection.
putting- yeah,
They are assholes to elbows.
Yeah, I have most of the Arc
even-
Battle together.
Even
on
like
one shelf.
dioramas, they have them all set right next to each other in a diorama, and just they all look, they're all next to each other. So if one doesn't look like the other, you can obviously tell.
So why not get more creative in the display pieces?
I
And
agree
what-
with
and
you
what,
there,
like-
Gary. I agree with you there.
Find ways to hide like Bumblebee's feet and shit like that. Is that what you mean?
No, I just mean like for the different looks, put the tuned ones together that look like they fit, and put the other ones together, and put your shelves together like that.
At that point, you're like, a lot of people don't have
The
a lot of
unlimited
space.
funds.
Yeah, they have
space.
limited space to display their collection,
Well.
and at that point, you're segregating. Here's my tune stuff. Here's my toy stuff, and here's my. Like you're it's complicating it too much.
Wait, JD, hold on, wait. You just said segregating, and you're the man that has an amazing Mythic Legions floor in your house.
Yeah,
I say.
I mean, I get to
Yeah.
use the entire house. You know, what I mean?
Gary-
I'm
We
teasing.
get to use the whole house.
Gary.
No, I know, but
has-
I was joking that you have a whole floor for your mythics, separate
has
from
a-
everybody
It's
else.
just a room, not a floor. Just a room.
You definitely make a valid point, Gary, because if you have the means and the space and the funds to do it and collect, the third party more realistic toy fashion and display it as here's my toy version and homaging the toys and the realistic fashions of the toys, and then you have a display showing just the cartoon versions, and you might want to do that.
I guess I just felt that, you know, we said sometimes you can take like look at it from either way. You can say it's a great time to collect stuff like this, no matter what your interests are, because for crying out loud, there's like stuff coming out from companies for just about every line you can think of, right? And and again, so it's exciting. At the same time, it's also that same collecting being spoiled. And look, it's not just Transformers collectors, but I'll just say, if we went back even 2 years ago and Takara Masterpiece was like offering a new mold of a new G1 character that wasn't Beast Wars and it wasn't anything else crazy that divides other people even further, everyone would be thrilled to be getting a new mold. Like, I remember when Trax, right, came out, and that's not a great figure and it has all those issues, but how people were excited for, you know, the character in a different mold that wasn't a Datsun, it wasn't a Lambo. And, you know, it was exciting. And we got it and realized, okay, it's got issues in hand that, you know, no one was able to nitpick through photographs back then. And now I think we're just gotten so, I don't know. You know, part of me is like, is it just that it's the collecting that's aged people and changed the perspective? Or is it the fact that are we being more critical, Dave? That's what I was thinking, because there hasn't been a new G1 style mold in a very long time, right? So when one comes out, you really, you know, you microscopically analyze it.
Well, will we have this discussion right now if they issued a Trailbreaker and they showed us a Trailbreaker with a fucking floating head? Will we have that issue right now?
That's Dom, you're in my head. We would not. I guarantee. Or a cliff jumper.
I bet you we will not.
Yeah, give us Masterpiece cliff jumper with some fucked up feet, and we'd love it because it'd be better than the other ones.
Because nobody else made a good one yet.
No.
And,
exactly.
Let's go with this one.
No, I disagree, because I'd still be complaining. And I got a bunch of comments, right? There was comments that I left there. There was a comment or two I deleted from that fucking thread, because, you know, people come out with the pores are out, right? Okay, all right, dude. Like, the pores are out, okay? I have every fucking Masterpiece that came out. I'm just not happy with the ones that are coming out now.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they're living up to that Masterpiece fucking motto. They look good. They're stepping their game up. People are asking for animated figures, right? They want it to look just like the cartoon, and they're doing a good job at it, but they're not doing a perfect job at it. And that's what gets me, because I know that this Hound, they're not going to remake for another fucking 5 to 10 years, or if at all, you know? And yeah, I'm complaining about the fucking floating head, but that's the only thing I can see right now that I'm complaining about. We have, I don't know if there's pictures of the back. Is the back all nice and clean? Has anybody seen that?
I don't think we've seen that
figure.
That's normally what everybody picks on, right? Is the fucking backpack. Okay, you're supposed to fucking where you supposed to put all the junk that these fucking Transformers have. You know,
put the junk in the trunk. Put that junk in the trunk.
But I'll follow up with the new Prime. Looks amazing. I have it on pre-order, and I haven't taken it off pre-order. But he has a lot of junk in his trunk too.
Yep.
And then you got the Moz toys and the Transform Element one that came out.
Magic Square.
Magic Square, my bad. Yep. You're right. My bad. I always fuck that up.
Right.
But anyway, they look great. Nice and clean, and fucking they look, to me, they look right off the screen too. You know, it's not they may not be what everybody else might see, or, you know, see when they look at the Takara one, but they look good enough to me.
Right.
You know? So how come we're not, I'm just saying, why aren't we getting that from them? Those feet, bro, on Bumblebee are trash. Like, that toy itself, just, I look down and I can't not look up after I see that. This new fucking floating head thing, like, don't get me wrong, I'm being nitpicky at. If it has a magnet and it sticks to that fucking toy, cool. And I'm a dick for fucking saying anything about it. But for now, for like $160, and you're telling me that this dude's head is just fucking dangling, okay? And I gotta hope that I catch it at a fucking angle so I don't catch a gap between it. Come on, man.
Wait, but Dave, so let's pause for a second, because again, I think it comes back to why are we surprised about what we get from these companies when they have a history of delivering relatively consistent pieces? So I've watched some reviews on the most recent 2 X-Transbot Stunticons, right? And I don't want to tangent us too much because I'm going to make a point again. it seems as if those last two members really aren't quite up to the same level that the Crack Rock and the what you call it,
Wild
Rider,
Wild
yeah,
Rider,
right.
yeah.
That those first two, it just seems as if there's some differences between those two, and a lot of what we've thought of expecting to come from X Transbots as the company have come through in those characters.
What's I know I don't want to put us on a tangent either, but I haven't watched any reviews. What's the difference with them?
I just saw some discoloration, not discoloration, but like variances in paint, in terms of, selection choices and stuff. And I don't have either one, so I'm not an expert. Please don't take it that way. I'm just saying I do the same thing we all do, get bored and have free time, and I'll watch stuff. But my point, I guess, is that, it just seems as if those are some things that you have come, or most collectors who have X Transbots product have come to expect. So with this Takara floating head, Dave, I really don't think it's going to be a big deal. Can we not? Did we forget the magic of Inferno's ladder in his transformation and how that
No,
works?
I didn't forget that, but that's what
Right.
that's exactly my point. If you're
But
talking about a toy that came out 3 or 4 years ago and that fucking ladder disappears in his back,
yeah, but no
what
one
happened
knew
to that
that.
dude that made that?
Yeah, you have the ability to engineer the shit out of this thing to make it all but perfect. Because
But no one really knew how cool
That's what you guys you guys are misled by that. They don't have the ability to make a perfect toy.
No, and I'm saying, but no one really knew how cool that was in Inferno until we had it in hand. And then once people started transforming it, and then it turned into this whole new label of, oh yeah, it's that masterpiece moment of transformation. And let's look for the masterpiece moment, in other products. So I'm just making the same point that basing it off of photographs is just, is it silly that the head floats there? It is. But do we really think that's how it's going to end up on finished product? Chances are it's probably unlikely based on what we've seen historically delivered from Takara. That's all.
So Gary, you're expecting this to be a masterpiece moment once we mess with it. And
I have a feeling that the way
Gary,
it looks like it's hinged
for you
and stuff. What'd you say?
I got a nice comparison for you.
Okay.
Masterpiece Hound and Omnigonic spin out. There's some floating heads for you.
Uh-oh.
I'm confused.
Well, Gary, there's this other Sunstreaker called Omnigonics.
No, I know that, right? I remember
And
the
he had
a floating head.
Right?
That's what I see.
Oh, I got you. Okay, no, I never paid that close attention to him. So.
That's what
but again, that's
wow, you guys are just quick to the trigger, man. Quick to the fucking trigger, dude.
Hey,
sees a picture and fucking sucks. Fuck you. Fire.
And you're quick to the trigger too, because you're like, oh my god, another fucking Takara. I don't care what it looks like. Click buy.
Oh my god.
How many did you
get?
If Takara comes out with fucking,
why are you so mad?
Energon cubes for fucking $50 a piece, that say Takara, the official Energon cubes, you'll buy a fucking
we can move on a little bit if you want. What I did think was funny is the post. It was a good conversation for the most part. When you do it, and a lot of opinions. That's what's always going to be the case. But I will be curious to see how many of those like thumbs down type opinions on the product end up posting. Hey, guess what came in the mail today? Oh, guess what I got today? At the end of 2019 when he ships out.
Gary, I'll just buy yours off you when you sell it.
Why? So then his price, huh?
Before we close that out, I just want to say, someone made we were talking about the fans toys double standard at Bobby's house.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, somebody posted in your thread, Dave, and said, well, Hot Rod had a gap in his neck and no one complained. And I'm like, everyone fucking complained about that.
Exactly.
So that person's just instigating for the sake, fucking being a Transformers fan here in the Facebook world. I mean,
the thing is, there's a double standard with elitists. I mean, not elitists, people that just want the Takara Hasbro product. They'll defend it to the end because it's official. Right. Just cause it doesn't matter what the fuck the thing looks like, how ugly it is, how much better of a different toy you might have of the same character. They'll fight you to tooth and nail because it's official and what you have is not. So yeah, those people, to me, get the fuck away from me.
There's gonna be
fuck out of here,
dude.
I don't care what you say. Get out of here.
There's gonna be some really interesting stuff on this Hound, though. The cannon his missile cannon, whatever, like that's not a piece you plug on. It like transforms into him. The wheels come apart and shit. I don't know. It's gonna be wild. I'm fucking pissed that it doesn't fit in my collection. Oh, well.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me is just, you know,
the back.
I can't do this like 10 different aesthetics. I can't.
And I got you, JD. That I agree with her because it's unfortunately like I played this role and I bought everything that started with Masterpiece and now I'm glad it's going to a tuna aesthetic that I like and I'm going to buy those. You know, not one time, Dave, I said that I'm buying this because it's official.
See, Dom, okay, so think about this, Dom.
I'm buying it because it's for sale.
Exactly.
Exactly. Your Gundog and your Willis and all of these figures that you have bought, the Takara is now replacing with Toon aesthetic, you know, what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun trying to get what you put into it originally.
What do you mean?
With your Willis and the Gundog and any other release, you know what I mean? Try and get back what you got for MP10 after you get it.
I'm not looking to sell. I'm not looking to sell them.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm going to keep
the
them.
way this keeps going is like they keep releasing more and more.
Yeah,
and more
but
and
I'm
more.
not looking.
And the
JD,
old stuff isn't worth
missing,
shit.
What you're missing, JD, is that I haven't sold my Gundog. I haven't sold my Willis.
Does anyone have Gundog in stock still? Is he gone? He's gone, right?
Got re-released.
No, the toy. But the darker one is not in stock. The dark one is not in stock. There's a lighter version. There's a lighter version, and there's a darker version.
Like my only point is, I'm not in this to make money. You know what I mean?
Neither.
As any of us are, but like, how many posts you see like in the cafe and all these Transformer pages? You know what I mean? And everybody's trying to get their money back out of it, but like nothing sells anywhere remotely close.
I'll be the first one to say I don't resell third party. I just don't like. I don't feel like there's a market for that.
Right.
You know, the peaks and valleys that occur and how fast it occurs. It's just it's too risky for me.
Even Takara stuff.
Exactly.
You can't get out what you put in.
And especially like these jets, like those jets, or how fast, like how, you know, the Seekers were going so high for so long, and then all of a sudden now it's like down to pennies. And you know, when they were selling for $179 retail, now you can buy them for freaking $79.99.
Mm-hmm.
All the you know, cone heads. So it's like, believe me, I rarely ever stock up or buy multiples of third party or Masterpiece because it's just too risky. The peaks and valleys. Sometimes it's great when you sell it at the right time. Sometimes it's not, and to me, it's not worth it for me.
Yeah.
There's other popular toy lines out there that are have more face value out there that I can invest in than Transformers right now. That I don't invest in Transformers as a resale type of thing because it doesn't gain value. Now, if you're talking about, say, the main, like, you know, the Chug line, then you got a different story. You know,
not really.
Well, you got people who love that stuff.
Yeah, that's
the thing. You know, you don't. You know, people love that stuff, and they will always love that stuff.
I've been carrying around the same Chugs at Toy Show
I know.
for like 2 fucking years now.
Just carrying the wrong ones.
All right, let's move on because this is a good segue to our next topic because you guys are talking about Chug, and I think that's how we all started with with Transformers, right?
Yep.
So, what would you guys recommend as an entry point for someone that's new to the hobby? With the abundance of choices and differences in quality throughout multiple lines of figures, how would you help someone navigate in that minefield?
I'll cut somebody a deal right now.
All right. Can we approach this without talking about robots?
Yeah,
Sure,
let's talk about
yeah,
on the
it
toy
might be
line.
funner to do it that way.
All right. Yeah.
You go.
So go, Brian.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. So first off, someone just coming into this hobby, I want to talk to them about where to get their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to educate them on things called re-releases. And I want to talk to them about things called exclusives that aren't really exclusives as well. Meaning, do your homework on where to buy. You don't, especially if it comes to import stuff, make sure you research some overseas retailers, your Amazons, Anime Exports, so on and so forth.
All right, so Brian, you talked about where to buy, right? Was one.
That's right.
You talked about re-releases as the top. Right. I'm just taking notes, and then exclusives, right?
Right.
Okay.
And those are the
He's
top.
taking notes because he's new to the hobby.
Those are some new things coming.
I'm starting over, Dave. I'm starting over this week.
It's like, and when you're new, it's kind of hard to get kind of plugged into the buzz. So when I talk about re-releases, it's more or less just having a know for what's going on in the game and setting your expectations. Maybe when you start, you've got a ton of money and you're like, dude, I want to get everything I see. But,
right.
You should perhaps be kind of smart about it and know that everything comes out again. And also, too, if the first release is something that you kind of want, but it's not exactly checking all your check boxes for you, ticking all those boxes. Wait a little bit longer, because guess what? The thing's gonna come out with a few tweaks that you're really gonna like, and you're like, damn it, I shouldn't have spent all that money on that other one.
So Brian, I have to add
more collectibles.
Yeah, I have to add one thing to your because those are all like excellent points. Like the where to buy. I think regardless of like you're not just talking about Transformers or Masterpiece, but if you're starting to get into the hobby, I think someone has to ask themselves, how do they want to shop? Meaning, do they have fun in brick and mortar stores? Because that's going to dictate what things you can go look for. And therefore, you'd consider, okay, hey, some of the stuff might look, find it in a Best Buy now or a GameStop versus what you're going to find in a Walmart or a Target. But, if that's not important to someone, then like you said, buying online or from import sites, and you can talk through what that looks like and the different retailers and stuff. But I do think there's, some people that still like to go on hunts, and, if that's the case, you got to collect something you can actually find in a store someday or somewhere,
And again, do your research on your retailers, because some will let you pre-order without paying ahead of time. And things like that, which is nice. Some will let you cancel pre-orders without any hassle, type of things like that. So make sure you look into that. But again, get educated. Follow some YouTube channels or some interesting podcasts, perhaps, on this channel that might help you, locate things you're looking for, or be aware of new things that are coming out. I will admit that some of the podcasts I'm on isn't quite as informative as it is entertaining. So make sure you. If you're not getting all the information you need from a toy news perspective, make sure you go seek that out as well.
That's good.
Do you have any examples, Brian, though, of like a line that, you would recommend to somebody to start off at, like if they were interested in a certain genre?
So that's interesting. And I think the reason why I brought up import stuff is because I have changed my collecting habits a little bit over time. I'm definitely going in for like the higher end, say 1/12 scale stuff, and so that's why I mentioned that. Depending on what you're looking at, there is going to be, like Gary said, everyone is making something from like every single brand that ever existed at this point, except for Thundercats and Silverhawks. But anyway, so I will let someone else tackle that question because I can't quite figure out how to say it yet. But it's along the way of what what are you looking for in a collectible?
Yeah, I think you had a good point, Dave. So, I mean, like you can buy your mass retail stuff, right? So if you want like a figure just to mess around with, Marvel Legends, probably has more posability than a Black Series, and that's in that $20 to $25 price range.
They're
Some
roughly the same.
Yeah,
Roughly.
looking for something a little bit maybe more. I would just say I think Storm Collectibles, the way that they've to look at because of the way they show up at. Oh, sorry. Is that any better?
Yeah, better.
Start off with Storm Collectibles.
I was to say Storm Collectibles is one company that I think might be interesting to someone newer because while you might not love all the properties, they've got video game stuff. They've got some molds of like real people, meaning like athletes and things like that. They're getting more and more licenses, it seems like, each year at different shows, but they're figures that aren't terribly expensive depending where you find them. Sometimes you can pick up ones on Amazon between the $45, and $50 price range, which isn't cheap, don't get me wrong, but it's not crazy expensive. They tend to come with a lot of accessories, so you can decide if you care about that stuff or not, different hands, different options, and they're fairly fun to mess with without worrying about breaking them. And someone could try one or two of those, and then if they like them, figure out what line they wanted or kind of pay attention that way. And, just might be able to have something that displays well that they can still mess around with and not worry so much about.
Yeah, that's a good point, because sometimes people aren't buying things in order to display them. They're just buying things because they want something to fuck around with.
Well, and it's also, like I said, it's a line that you can find them on Amazon, sold straight from Amazon. You can occasionally find them in some brick and mortar stores like a GameStop or those Think Geeks stores if your malls have those. Or you can find them at most of the online retail stores as well that we talk a lot about. So there's a lot of places where you can pick them up too.
Yeah.
So I would agree with both Brian and Gary as far as a new collector. I mean, what you're buying or what you're interested in, where you're buying it from. I mean, those would be the big top two main concerns, just what and where.
Yeah, like you don't want to be buying all your stuff on eBay and not really knowing what the stuff goes for. Like
knowing what to look out for, you know what I mean? When to jump, when to not, all that kind of stuff.
I think I've made that mistake, like especially like if you're trying to jump in on a line that's already been out for some time and you're trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
The first thing I would not do is go on eBay and just start buying shit up. Be patient.
No,
if the stuff has been out for a few years, it's not going anywhere. Like, you're gonna get it somewhere or another. Just be patient. Like, I remember buying Masterpiece toys on eBay and paying $200 a pop. At the time.
But that was back then though, Dave. Too. It was like it was hard to pick up.
It's the same thing with these days with people paying $250, $300 for fans toys that cost $100. So it still happens.
Because
you know what I'm saying?
there's people out there giving the indication that it's not there. Once fans toys push it out, that's it. No, that's not happening.
Right.
Like that's what Brian's kind of tending to. It's like don't believe the hype in regards to like, oh, once it's out, it's gone, and once it's gone, it's never going to come back. That faux pas is no longer true anymore. Within due time, they're going to put something out, or you got to just be patient, or make sure you be smart on how you spend your money. Now, if you want it now, there's going to be a premium, and you can go spend $200 on a $100 toy. Go ahead. I'm not, people do that, but it's okay, because if you want to spend $200 and you have the will and the will to spend that $200 and that's what you want to do, go ahead, and you're not going to be mad at it when all of a sudden the real issue comes out for $100 again, and you're like, you know what? I wanted it now. I didn't want it 3 months down the road. You know what I'm saying? That's fine.
Well, yeah, that stuff happens across the board. I mean, the other day I think I saw Hot Toys re-released Star-Lord, right?
Yeah.
And Star-Lord was going for a few $100s, and now all of a sudden you can get it for a quarter of the price that it was going for a few weeks ago.
Well, that a lot of people too were like, saying, oh, if they're going to do another Star Lord, they're probably not going to do it until Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is not going to come out for another 2 years. So it's like, am I going to wait that long? So I'll be willing to spend $300, and all of a sudden, when they reissued it for Infinity War, which everybody felt like Infinity War figures were kind of dying down because they started issuing or pre-orders or going up for Endgame figures. It's like a slap in the face when they come back and here's an Infinity War figure, and like you're like, what? Wait, I thought we were moving on to Endgame. Why are we going back to Infinity War? And it's just interesting how they're doing that. And now that alone is teaching people to say, okay, maybe I'm not going to buy the Falcon right now, or maybe I'm not going to buy the Scarlet Witch right now.
You're talking to yourself.
Yeah,
You
but
know
that's,
I know
what I'm
that
saying.
for a fact. But how would you relate that to somebody just jumping into it that has nothing?
I would say well, that's the thing. Like I would, it'd be a great time to jump into, if you're in Hot Toys, it'd be a great time to jump in now, because the fact that Infinity War, you're pretty much getting all the characters that you possibly can get that came out previously, unless you're into Iron Man die-cast figures where you have to go back and buy all the different type of Mark 1s, Mark 2s, Mark 7s, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for a Doctor Strange, or you're looking for a Nebula, if you're looking for a freaking Gamora, you're looking for all those characters that they've issued in the past, but now they're all issuing in Infinity War and Endgame, you're gonna get your slew of characters, and it'd be a great time to jump in now and pick up those characters for retail, because once they're gone, I'm sure those characters are not going to show up probably again until they're single movies, or maybe the next Avenger movie that comes out. So you never know. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that I just going back to the original, like, I always feel like you need to ask yourself what's important to you in regards to the funds that you're spending. Like if you're cool, because the gap is closing on a lot of these figures. Like, the gap was so much wider between SH Figure Arts and Black Series, SH Figure Arts and Marvel Legends. So those gaps were large at when I first started collecting Marvel Legends and Black Series. So it was worth spending $60, $65 on an SH Figure Arts, because you're getting more out of it. But now, and the out of it that you were getting was articulation, which they're still dominant in, which is SH Figure Arts is still dominant in articulation. But then they also were very dominant in sculpt and likeness and all that stuff, but not as much now. And so if you are more into articulation and playing with your figures, posing your figures, and getting that look to take that picture, then SH Figure Arts is your thing. If you're looking for sculpt and likenesses and just having it look good on itself, then you might say, do I want to dish out $65 for a figure that gives me, or do I do a $20 figure that gives me the same thing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a really soul searching in your point on what you want as a collector. What makes you, what tickles your fancy? And is it articulation and putting a figure in poses and taking the pictures of it and doing all that stuff? Then you have to go for figure lines or lines that give you that.
Dave, I think you just got to remind yourselves, you got to have fun with it for whatever it is that you're looking for. And it's, while we joke and give each other a hard time, it's not a competition either. So
it's always a competition, Gary. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
He's in competition with himself, bro.
He's always beating me.
No, but I get that, Gary. I was gonna recommend that, if you're really interested in something, you haven't bit the bullet per se on that, watch a few videos. Like I did that a lot at the beginning. Like when I wasn't sure on something, I watched a bunch of reviews. I watched I watched the guys, on ETR talk about what they had and what they were enjoying before I went, and like, what, this thing, I got to get it. It sounds like everybody's enjoying it, having fun with it. I'll give it a try. Or, you see a bunch of crappy reviews on something and you might be in love with the character itself, but not the toy because you haven't handled it yet. Like, fuck the toy, don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like, wait, something else will come out.
I totally agree with you, Dave. But like, when you watch videos, ask yourself, like, don't fall into, oh, I'm going to buy this figure because he likes it.
Oh no, no. Right.
Question yourself and say, and look at that video and say, hey, is this something that I would like? Is this something that checks the boxes of what I'm looking for? So like before you start looking at videos and because believe me, it's happened to me in the past when I started collecting, where I would watch videos and I started getting like, what, he likes it, maybe, I want to check it out. Just like you said, Dave, I want to check it out. Everybody's taking so hyped about this figure. I want to check it out. And all of a sudden I buy it. And I'm like, I'm kind of a little disappointed because we all have different tastes and all different, views on what the figure is.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just based on character. Like,
exactly.
if I have a perfect example for JD, like, Six Shot, right? He doesn't care for the toy. The toy's not a great toy to him. I get that. But the presentation it gives for me, and I like the character, that's why I enjoy the figure.
Exactly.
Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. And that's why JD doesn't care for it. You know what I'm saying?
It checks your boxes,
right?
It doesn't check JD's boxes. But that's you as a collector. When I talk to somebody coming into this hobby or any hobby in regards to toys, you really want to find out what you're into. What are you looking for in a toy? What
sometimes you don't know that, and you can't. Well,
exactly,
you were just saying
right,
you're going off of somebody else's opinion.
And it's definitely a trial by error type of thing. I agree. You're gonna find your likenesses in trying to see what's out there and you're picking it. Where I think try to diverse your purchases at that beginning point to figure out what you like, and maybe dibble dabble in here, dibble dabble there, spend a little bit more money on an expensive figure for one, and then see what you like, and then make a decision for yourself. Like it's definitely a trial by error in that beginning standpoint.
I have a good example for this group, right? So everybody knows we're big Mythic Legionnaires or whatever you want to call us, right? Mm-hmm. So how many times did we go to that show and walk by that table, or get a little intrigued by it? And I'm not saying everybody, but most of us, and we're just like, I don't know if I like that. And why? Because we didn't take the time to actually handle it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they got me on the birds. I just remember walking by. I didn't know who the Four Horsemen were. Mm-hmm. Someone's like, they make He-Man stuff. I'm like, all right, it's fine.
And that's for me,
but I saw those birds, man. I'm like,
I remember that. I remember that time because they only had birds out.
Correct, exactly.
And I wasn't into it. I was like, what's these? I don't give a shit about these birds.
I just felt like, dude, I'm a toy collector, and these things look fucking wild. It's like I'm taking a risk.
And I think that's what turned the tide for us, because you brought them back. We were playing with them back at Dust's house.
Yep.
And we were like, these are pretty fucking cool.
But I was still in, like, when we were playing with them, Dave, I wasn't into them. Like, and then all of a sudden, that second time when we showed up and they had the Coliseum wave, and we saw some of those, like the gladiators and the knights and stuff, I was like, this looks fucking cool. Like, this is something that I'm more into. Like, even Jose said it. Like, he's like, I'm not going to bite into Mythics. If they did something more space oriented, then I'd probably be into that. So it's like, you're even genres in regards to your collecting and what toy you want to collect, whether it's, Dungeons and Dragons or space or, any, realistic, whatever, like, more of a DC comic book stuff, then like, you'll figure out what you like and you go for it, and put your foot in the pool, maybe a toe first and see what happens.
Well, and this is, I don't want to be overly cheesy with this either, but it does kind of tie into maybe a topic for another day in greater detail. It's more fun to collect with friends and people that who appreciate the same thing, versus feeling like you have to do it by yourself, or forcing a family member or your significant other to try to take interest in a hobby that maybe he or she doesn't really get that excited about. And for that, there's, like you said, you can watch videos, you can comment on, in chats, you can find Facebook groups where, we go through it all the time. You can, escalate it with individual conversations, and, we do the hangouts, but there's plenty of ways to interact with people who share similar interests. And then, at some point, maybe a live event or a show or convention comes up, and that's how a lot of us met for the first time, and we meet new people that way. It makes it more fun, I think, at the same time, versus just, I think back to even just, it was only a couple of years ago, barely 2 years ago, where it was just, I was on my own with the internet and, the lines I liked and reading articles and buying toys, and it's just far more fun to have people to talk about it with. And
Gary, that's exactly where I was headed too. It's like, you know what? Just make your way to a con.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to be at Toy Con this weekend, right? Is there something you've heard one of us say that we have that you think you want? Tell us to bring it. We'll bring it. That's what we do as a group of friends. Like, oh, you got that? I want to check it out. Bring it. Bring it with you. We'll look at it during lunch or when we go back to anybody's house. And I could say that's probably how I wound up with half the shit in my fucking room, is because I seen it at somebody else's house and or messed with it at a show.
Yeah, and like
It
if
wasn't
you're
that I just saw a picture and I was like, oh, I got to buy that. No, I actually got to see it firsthand. I was like, okay, this is something I want.
yeah, and if you're new to collecting and you're looking to collect something, and if somebody has been down or is deep into it, and you can have the ability to meet up and see his collection and play with certain figures that they have, and not even just one, like, as a community, even get out there and see other people's collections and play with figures that they have, and hear their viewpoints on what their likes are and what their dislikes are. And as you converse with these individuals, you might find out what best fits yourself because of the stuff that you're touching and playing around with.
And that goes along with everything. It goes along with what figures you're collecting, how you might even display your room. I know we've heard examples. Bobby took the lightsaber idea from JD being at his house, right? Yeah. I took the idea from Bobby's because I didn't get to see it at your house, but now I got it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do the same thing.
I'll have to ask you afterwards what this lightsaber idea is.
So it's basically nailing them to the wall and hanging them from a hilt, right?
Any other ones that have D rings on them, you can hang them from the D ring.
Mm-hmm.
So they're accessible.
Yeah, and they make a good display. Like, before that, you'd have to like prop it up on something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that idea was awesome, and that's what this whole thing's about: bouncing out ideas and collections off each other. So just get to talking. If you want to hit one of us up, listening, you're interested in something that you're iffy about, hit somebody up. Collecticon on Instagram, right? I think he just joined the Facebook group. Alex.
Yeah,
he hits me up from time to time, and we talk nothing but mythics, and it's fucking refreshing to me because we've all abused it to the point where we're like, oh, another figure, yay, okay,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Add that one to the horde, but he's just getting into it and he's really interested, and I'm like, dude, don't buy it here. I have a few extra of these, I'll send them to you. That's what I did this week, and that's what the realm and this whole thing's about. So just reach out, talk to somebody, and get a better idea of something if you're not in the know of it.
And take it as a compliment if you come up with an idea and somebody likes it and they use it, especially, that's a compliment. Like, if you have an idea of something that you came up with, and all of us, you share that idea, and some people are using it, take it as a compliment, because then your idea is a good idea and people like it. So it's like, don't get upset, don't get mad, don't be that person. Just be happy that you're sharing your ideas and people are actually think they're great ideas and they're using it. So it's just a community out there that we want each other's collections to be as the best as they possibly can be.
Yeah, good point, though.
Just to be that. That's what it's all about. And eventually, you might, when you start looking, like JD, tell me, when you start looking at collections, they tend to look the same. Like, they're just, some people are sharing ideas, some people are using the same type of display cases or this, that, and this. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's whatever your means is, whatever your space is, and if you have a good idea, share it with the group. And if somebody agrees with your idea and actually does it, don't be upset at it, or like, don't. If you're showing off your collection and somebody sees something that they like, not even if you're advertising that, hey guys, try this or whatever the case be, and you just showed your collection. Somebody took something out of your collection and said, hey, you know, I like what you did there, and they did it to them. Don't be upset about it. Like, just take it as a compliment and say, hey man, look, my idea, they like my idea, and then, you know, they're using it, you know. And 20 other people are probably going to come up with the same idea, even if they didn't see it, you know. It's just by the probability of chance. Someone's going to come up with the same idea you're coming up with, not even the fact that they saw your collection or not. So,
right.
You know,
I like that, Dom. I like that, you know, you shouldn't feel like somebody's stealing your swag. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like if they're
It's not
feeling it,
like
them rock
Gary
out with
said,
it because
like
it's
Gary
a
said, it's
compliment
not a
to you.
competition.
So.
It's not a competition. It's not, you know,
Like if
I
you
have
saw
the best looking collection.
If you saw JD's video, right, of his house,
Yeah.
and you want a house like JD's, build a fucking extension. All right, build up or build to the side and build those toy rooms. You can do it.
Or just, you know, if you like JD's, like, you know, Mythic Legion goddamn play set that he constructed, just get, you know, throw him a couple $1,000 and then have him build you one.
This is true.
You might not get it until like 2025, which is okay, but just fucking with you, JD.
Oh, I know.
But that is a great play set, dude.
Well, I'm glad we had stuff to run over for new collectors and stuff like that.
I just want to add one more thing. It's like there are certain aspects to these collectibles, and if you're going to cut corners for price or availability or anything like that to get something that's not what you want, double check yourself on that, and it might be worth just waiting or saving. 'Cause sometimes you'll get something, and if it doesn't do exactly what you want it to do because there was another piece that you wanted to get instead, that did those things, I think it'll sour you a little bit.
Yes, it does. It gives you a bad taste.
So don't sacrifice too much.
Chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you like off of Brian, like doing that to yourself is just you're gonna go into a state of just being sour, and you might even follow yourself out of collecting because you're just gonna piss yourself off with things that you're buying that you think are checking your boxes, and it's not, because you're compensating for something, and then all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck am I doing this in the first place?
I think we've all been there.
And we have.
Yeah. I mean, NJCC fucking sales. Yeah.
JD.
Oh boy. Somebody's home. Somebody help.
All right. Well, all good points. I just want to ask you guys, what are you guys looking forward to at ToyCon this weekend? And then we can wrap up with some, where you're at. So, are you guys looking forward to anything this weekend?
Seeing you guys.
Yeah, it's fun to hang out. It's we beat the Mythic Legions to death, but it's a fun show for anyone who's interested. It's a wide variety of stuff to look at. Some modern, but a lot of vintage and kind of stuff in the middle. So it's one of the shows I have the most fun at, just looking at the tables and trying to decipher what's there.
Yeah, I agree, Gary. It's one of those shows that I love. One of my secret joys is getting a cup of coffee and walking around the toy show, and it's one of the things I look most forward to. And this is one of the shows where you get to do that and see lots of things. Your coffee's cold by the time you're done the show. I mean, walking the floor. You know what I mean?
What I love with this show in particular, I don't know, it's not most, but this show in particular is because the fact that we all bring stuff for each other that we wanted or we picked up for, or whatever the case may be, and we do a trade in the park. Like we get together in the parking lot and we make this exchange.
That's my favorite part,
and it's funny because it's not what I'm getting that makes me happy. It's just seeing everybody getting what they're getting, and it's like, and seeing what they're getting, and what we're exchanging with each other, and it's like it's surprising sometimes, and it's sometimes it's shocking because you don't know. Like sometimes me and Dave will communicate on something that we want, and then all of a sudden it's like Brian got the same thing, and it's like Dave got it too. You're like, wait, you got one for Brian too? And it's like, it's just so funny how like some of our interests are like same, and who has who for what, and it's just really interesting and it's fun, and I love that part because it's like it's right after. I think we do it like between like after lunch. We go back to the. Sometimes we do it right before after lunch and before we go back into the place, and sometimes we do it at the end. So it's really cool, like how we all do it, and it's really fun.
Dude, sometimes I can't even like bring the shit that I got from the rock swap in my house because it's so much shit.
Yes.
Right now I got stuff that fucking I'm shipping to Brian's house to save on taxes. I think
until you get that brink tax.
I think between us all we're probably trading something or another, right? There was one time Gary brought me all this artwork, and my wife looked at me like, "What the fuck did you do?" I swear, Gary gifted this to me. Remember the big framed fucking stuff?
I remember that. Yeah.
I don't know if it was the same time, but I came home with a Jabba's Palace once, and
that was Zolicon.
Just a point of reference: if your friends ever make you a diorama, don't leave any of it back in the car, and then curse them out that they didn't finish it until you check the rest of your car.
No wonder you act like you hate me.
But that's the thing. Like that's the thing. Like it's we don't like we have conversations individually with each other and what we want and what we're getting. And so it's like when we do that meetup, it's like I see what you were like, what JD has for you, Dave, and like what you have for him, and I'm like, oh my god, like you don't hear those conversations because it's one-on-one, and then all of a sudden when we get together, we're all handing gifts. It's like almost like a little Christmas, like thing going on.
Three or four times a year.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I hope this guy wasn't there the last time, but I hope there's a guy that was there the first time we went, and he had Figma and Figuarts.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
like half the price of what you usually get them for.
Oh, nice.
And he had him there, and I hope he's there.
And that toy show, sometimes you get surprised with some stuff. So like I hope there's some surprises. Like there's some vendors there that are emptying out some things that they don't want, and whatever somebody else's garbage is somebody else's
it just sucks that Mythic Legions has taken over, because we go to that table and they're all cash, right? So you're there at that table, and before you know it, you don't got $5 for lunch, and then after that you're like, oh shit, there's other stuff here too. You go look around.
Yeah. And then you got arcades. I want to play some arcades, yo.
Get your ass busted again.
Mm-hmm. It's a great show. I enjoy it very much.
Anybody that's thinking about going should go.
Yeah, definitely come through. This is one of my favorite shows. This is I think the first show Gary came to.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
First show that Eric came to. He'll be there this weekend too. I'm pretty sure Riddler Circle's going to be there.
Oh, nice.
So New York's coming deep. So come through, come hang out. It's a definitely good time. It's one of the best shows out there. So
get your ring on.
Mm.
And with that said, I think we should tell everybody where we're at and kill this thing. So Brian, let them know.
Brinkalizer on Instagram. I'm bringing the Facebook groups. ToyCon this Saturday.
How about you, Dom?
You can find me in the groups down at Grasso here Tuesday nights with these guys, and I'm at the Mythic Legions table this Saturday, elbowing Gary in the fucking chest. Move, bitch.
I'll be ready.
Gary Allen the 17th. Tell me where you're at.
Gary Allen, the Facebook groups. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Right. JD.
Pigment Surgery on Instagram and Xbox Live here every Tuesday night, and tomorrow all new Figure banging.
What are we doing tomorrow?
And I'm Energon Addict. You can find me on Instagram, David Clone in the Facebook groups. We are a proud part of the Cool Table Network. Make sure you watch all those other shows. If you don't know what they are, I don't know. Go back to another show. The guy who usually hosts this show, Jose, is way better at this than me. So just listen to his whole spiel.
There you go. There's a show and a topic, I think, for just about anything that might interest you, right?
Anything and everything.
Pretty much.
You got it. Yep.
And if it's not out there, it's just because we didn't do it yet. So it's coming.
Exactly. There you go.
Yep, coming soon.
And thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Doodles.
So Dust is gonna press the live.